Hello and welcome to the EVN Disrupt podcast. My name is Nejde Tsatoryan. I'm the editor of the creative tech section here at EVN Report. And today my guests were Armine Mkrtchyan and Gevorg Poghosyan from reArmenia, a collaboration platform for projects solving different problems in Armenia. We spoke about the reArmenia platform, how organizations can use the platform to find collaborators for their work, building trust among their community, and some of the projects that are currently up on the platform right now. Gevorg is the CEO of the organization, and Armine is a member of the board. reArmenia, for those of you who don't know, is a platform that was launched last year in the fall. It's a collaboration platform for Armenians all over the world where projects solving different problems are presented to receive needed resources, knowledge, experience, network, and funds. Gevorg and Armine, thank you so much for joining us today and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nejde.
Thank you very much for having us. Thanks.
Thank you for being here. Let's start with the story of reArmenia. How did you guys come up with this idea and why did you think it was needed right now?
Basically, we have started this right after the war. I mean, not the platform itself, but thoughts about this kind of platform, meaning that we were understanding that the main problem that we had was basically not being together, not working on the same goal, on the same vision, basically. And we were, in every sphere, let's say like this, we were working very decentralized, so-called.
Not unified.
Not unified, maybe better to say, yeah. And we understood that this is the main problem because of which we're having all these losses and everything. So we decided that we have to focus on bringing together all Armenians, but not just in terms of ideology or, but bring together Armenians who are gonna really solve the problems, like hands-on activities concerning solving the problems. And then we were thinking what will be the tool for that. And then one of our friends, James Tufenkian, by the way, he was involved in all this process as well. He said, let's start a collaboration platform, technological platform, let's say like this, which will be accessible for every Armenian around the world. And so we decided to have this platform which will give opportunity to every project which is solving Armenia's or Armenians' problem to be presented in here and to attract basically all the needed resources. So main resources are these four, like knowledge, experience, network, and funds. These are basically the main things that every project needs to become reality. So here, everyone who has basically understanding of any problem and the solution to this problem and need to find some like-minded people, some collaborators, some resources. This platform is for that very person to present the idea, to present the solution and find partners. And on the other hand, there are a lot of people who want really to collaborate to help solve some problems, but they do not know where to go, where to find this reliable, trustworthy people and teams, where to find the real problems that are important at this very moment, basically. So this platform is for that people as well.
When you guys were looking at this space, were there any examples of success in the past that people have tried a platform like this or an idea like this and it has bared fruit?
That's a very interesting question, and I will come from a little bit far. What we saw is that everyone, let's say in Armenia or Armenians abroad, they were doing something. Even in the war, during the war, you would see that everyone was trying to do something, was trying to help. And what we found was that we do a lot of things, but when we don't do it together, the effect is very small. And sometimes we do the same thing for the same people and we don't coordinate, we don't collaborate. And what happens is that the result could be much bigger. And even during the war, we had many examples when people were helping. To bring an example, we had families who had tens of kilograms of flour and they didn't have any oven or anything to bake bread. The idea here is that there are many people were doing many things, but we needed a place where everyone would collaborate together. So we wouldn't do something here, something there, but we would join our efforts and the result would be much bigger.
Yeah. I think this idea is very popular amongst Armenians, especially during the war and after the war. There's this constant idea that one of our problems is that we're not unified enough. 10 people are working on the same problem instead of pooling their resources together. And there's that famous Chagan's quote that kept getting circulated.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of these kind of initiatives, and which is very good because, as you said, like almost every Armenian understands that the main thing we need is unity.
Yeah.
And a lot of different tries have been done before. And right now, besides reArmenia, there are some other projects as well who are working on bringing together all Armenians to organize these collaboration platforms or some initiatives. So why I'm saying this is very good because all these people basically are our friends and partners. As soon as they like realize that we're doing the same, and as soon as we find out about some other this kind of initiatives, what we do first, we start collaboration as far as we're all
smart.
of us are collaboration platforms and initiatives. So first what we do, we start collaboration together and bringing all these resources together, of course, helping to develop this direction a lot better. But the thing is, which is very, very important, that what we need at the moment, we need metrics to measure these collaboration successes, basically. I mean, so far, a lot of people talked about this. A lot of people started different initiatives for collaboration. But unfortunately, not always we had, let's say, the formula of measuring the result of our collaboration. So now we want to have all these metrics, to have like understanding that every collaboration has to have deadline and measurable results, so this will help us to really understand if we are collaborating or just talking about collaboration. You know what I'm saying, huh?
That's really interesting. So what are some of those metrics in the context of some of the projects that are on your platform right now? How do you measure that? Because it's a lot more difficult. It's easy to say, if you're a news outlet, some of your metrics are the reach that you have, how many people read your work or listen to your segments. How do you do that in terms of measuring collaboration?
Basically, there are two main things, like success of that very collaboration, the number of people involved in this collaboration. So what we want to do, we want to bring as many people as possible together. For example, for this year, our objective is to create this minimum viable community. Last year, for example, our objective was a minimum viable product, which was basically the platform, and on October we have launched it. And this year we want to create this minimum viable community of giving, helping, collaborating people. So the metrics are basically, as I said, we're actually, of course, we're a collaboration platform, but you can say as well that we are a crowdsourcing platform. So every project which is presented there, they have exact needs, like some specialists, some partners, some networks, some funds.
Yeah.
Exact like number of specialists or funds, for example. And they have exact deadlines until what date they want to get all these resources. So as soon as they have accomplished the campaign, as soon as they have this success, reached to their needed resources, basically, meaning that they are successful. So number of successful campaigns and number of people involved in these campaigns basically is the main metrics.
And you guys maximize for the more number of people involved?
Yes, basically. I mean,
in each project.
Yes. We're trying to involve as many people as possible because, in Armenia we say Michael Kalava, Yerkus Naveli. What is English for that?
One mind is good, two is better.
Okay. Yes, it is. Yeah, so that's why we want to bring on board as many people as possible. Of course, effectively collaborating people.
Right.
That's a very important part.
In order to give our listeners an idea of what collaboration looks like on your platform, give us an idea of the process that it takes for a project to apply for the platform and what vetting it goes through to get approved and then start the campaign.
Okay, let me tell you about the process which applies to every project that comes through Armenia. First of all, we have the create button on our website, and everyone can just go there and start their collaboration or start their project, whether it's a collaboration, it's fundraising, whatever they want. Yeah, it's crowdsourcing. So after that, we get the application. They fill out the application. We get the application, and the screening specialist reviews the application. Then it goes to an account manager. So from the first moment you applied to our platform, you are assigned with an account manager who will help you to go through the process. So the first check, the first vetting is going through our trust and safety department. So what they do, they check the legal stuff, they check if you have some financial background, if you are asking for money, what is the budget, and if you have different needs. So they check the validity of
your idea,
needs, right? And after that, it goes to advisory boards. So we have almost all areas are involved in reArmenia, apart from things that are related to military. Yeah,
that's your only limitation.
Yeah, that's the only limitation, let's say. So when you come, for example, if you have an idea related to education, your project goes to advisory board that is dealing with education. So they view the project, they evaluate the project with three main criteria. The first one is whether the problem exists, whether the problem is real. The second one, whether the solution you're proposing is a good one. And the third one, whether the team has the capacity to carry out the solution. So when the project is evaluated and is approved by the advisory board, it goes already to campaign management. And we have a committee that helps the project with campaign management. I mean, you already start developing your campaign page, your strategy, and we have a committee that approves your campaign already. Yeah. So when it is approved, it goes live, and you start getting a lot of collaborators.
Right. And when we say collaborators, there are different ways that people can collaborate with these projects, right? One of them is financing it through a crowdfunding campaign. And then the other one is looking for contributors for specific tasks or like people to advise, right? Can you talk a little bit about the members that are on your platform that can provide advice? How do they go about finding a project, and how do you help match them?
Basically, on the platform, you can find all the vetted and approved projects online. So anyone who wants to contribute to any project can go to website, rearmenia.com, and then go through all the projects, see which one resonating to his needs, understanding, or ideas or vision. And as soon as they find the project which they want to help, they're just pressing this Act Now button and fill in the small application where they can find these fields like who you are, like collaborator, or maybe they can see the list of the specialists that this very project is looking for. So maybe architect, designer, etc., if they're constructing something, for example. And you're just choosing from this drop-down menu the direction in which you want to be involved. There is a little space where you can fill in a little message saying something about you or why do you care about this cause, for example, and hit submit button. And then this initiator or let's say implementer of the project receives all these applications, let's say like this. Which one is interesting for implementer? They're getting in touch with them, having all these talks about collaboration, and as soon as they have decided that this person is joining the team, so they're putting the update on the campaign page saying that this person joined us with this, for example, resources and everything. So on the other hand, soon, I'm not sure it's going to be very soon or not. The second quarter for sure, we will have the list of collaborators and experts. So the same way like collaborator is looking for the project creators can look for collaborators on the same website as well. So if anybody want to share their knowledge, experience, or whatever, they can register on the platform, like put that tick, which gives opportunity to be shown for the public already. And any project which needs your knowledge and experience can outreach to you as well. Concerning matching, we will have this later this year, not the smartest version, because eventually we want to have very smart version of this matching process. The idea is that if you're looking for some specific professional, let's say like this, some specific expert, as soon as this expert will appear on the platform, you will get notification. But we want to have a little smarter version of this matching because, different people describe the same profession in different ways, in different words. So the best way that the system identifies that if this text and the other are about the same thing or not, and based on that the system is deciding to send the push notification to project creator or not. So eventually we will have this very smart matching tool or matching, let's say, algorithms in the platform, which will help to find each other much easier. So for now, a lot of these is being done manually.
Right. They see the campaign that they want to contribute to, and they do the application, as you said. Can you give us an idea of what type of tasks these are that people can fulfill? What are the type of tasks that the campaigns need help with?
I think I can bring some examples right now what we have on our platform. For example, we had a collaboration which was looking for people who would help them with creating a database. So they were looking for database developers, basically. Another project which is related to a park in Stepanovan is looking for an urban planner, urban designer, and is looking for an implementer company who would be able to come and tell them, okay, this is what we should do with the park. And like right now, we have 2 collaborators joined already the project. And if there is anyone in this area of expertise, we would love to hear from them, and we would love to add them to the project. And it can be starting from a skill related to a very specific profession to, let's say, a very general something like we are going to have another project, which is a project from US, and they are asking for collaborators in Armenia. They are looking for training centers. They have a program. They want to give the program to Armenia, but they don't know anyone here. So they say, we're looking for training centers who will come and take our program and deliver it to students in Armenia.
It's amazing.
Or the same Hakopavan case, for example, Artsakh government, they wanted to renovate Hakopavan monastery complex. Yeah, so they needed basically architects, renovation specialists, construction companies who are basically the best in this, and they opened the collaboration campaign on reArmenia, and it took several months basically, because even this one started even before the launch of the platform. But anyways, they found all the needed resources, all the needed partners basically, and they came together, worked on the project. They have already the team, the timeline and the roadmap of this renovation process, and also they have the budget, and now they have started the fundraising campaign all together on reArmenia platform. So right now they have raised so far, I don't remember, like $24,000. Huh? So thank you for helping, showing me the webpage. yeah. So yes, so they have raised around $25,000 already. And looking for $270,000. So I really believe that this fundraising will come to its success as well. So this is another very good like example. Why? Because here we have very different entities, like, you know, the government, foundations, individuals like architect, for example, experts, by the way, from different countries, restoration of historic architectures or buildings. So, I mean, this is very good thing, and this is the way we want all the other entities and individuals to collaborate to solve basically all the tough problems that we have in front of us.
Yeah.
And there is another collaboration I just want to mention. It's also very interesting. One of our banks actually came to us and said that every year we were giving some gifts to our partners, and this is the second year we have decided that instead of the gifts we want to give the money to charity. And what projects we're looking for, they should be in Syunik, and they should be in the villages that are now in troubled area. And what happened is that they opened a collaboration asking for problems. They said, we have the money.
That one was very unique collaboration case as well.
It was very interesting. They said, we have the money, we want to help these villages. What are the problems there? And we had the municipality of Syunik region. They joined the project. They said, we will give you a lot of problems to solve. And basically what happened is they raised the issue of the schools not having laboratories. And
what kind of laboratories?
they have 5 laboratories: physics, mathematics,
Chemistry.
biology, chemistry, and
Geography.
geography. Right. So and the amount was around 10 million dirhams, but the budget of the bank was around 5 million dirhams. So what happened is that they gave the amount which was required, and the rest was raised. Right now we're raising it, and there is another union of businessman union. Yeah, they joined. They gave another amount, and now we have children from the regions. I don't know if you're familiar with MEM. Yeah, yeah. So we gathered together a team of campaign managers. So they are going to do a small campaign for the remaining amount of
incredible.
Basically, around 500,000.
Yeah, it's
remaining.
just 500,000.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it went very, very fast and very successful. That one was very interesting case as well, because, you know, here we have not the person who has the problem, but the entity who has the resource to help.
They crowdsourced the problem.
Yeah, basically they have the funds and they were looking for problem. They were looking for the like toughest or most important problem.
Right.
So this was another case of collaboration. Yeah.
That's a really interesting scenario, and I hope it inspires more examples like that because of
and we already have our gift cards on our website, and there are organizations which are saying that we give some gifts to our employees at the end of the year, so we will think about giving the gift cards because the best gift is the gift of giving.
That's a good tagline. I want to talk about some of these specific projects that you mentioned, but just before that, I had a question about these people who are coming on and fulfilling these tasks that some of these projects need. Are they volunteers, or how does that system work?
It can be either way. I mean, it's upon their decision, and the collaborator and the project implementer. So they're like, let's say, negotiating together and figuring out which is the best way of their collaboration.
So you guys aren't closed off to it being a paid thing, or?
It can be, sure.
It can be paid. There's no limitations on that?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
The only limitation here is on reArmenia.com is to come to success.
Right. Okay.
Like to solve the problem.
Right.
That's the most important thing. And if you're not solving the problem, you're not good enough. If you're solving, so...
Yeah, and we have seen a very interesting tendency. We had like a book collecting project for one of the villages, and then the second project came, and now we're getting a lot of messages, and a lot of people are saying, our village doesn't have a library. Can you help us with the library? So we're seeing very interesting tendencies here.
By the way, just another great case was this Varuhas village. Armine mentioned this library. So the project called Play and Read in Varuhas, and they were raising funds for playground, and they were collecting books for their library. And it's important to mention that in this village there are like 630 people, the population, and 230 of those are children. I mean, each family basically in average have like 7-8 child. You see, I mean, this
big
is incredible.
Families,
But this village with this big amount of children, they didn't have a playground or the library. So this is a really problem for them, crucial problem. So during 4 weeks, they have raised around $16,000 for playground. And they were asking for like some 70 or 80 books, and they have collected 800 books for the library. So, I mean, we were very, very like delighted with this project.
And we have a very touchy story here. I like this story very much. There was a military man who used to serve in Varuhas, and he had some injury, and after that he went out of army. And when he saw, he participated in the defense of Varuhas. And when he saw the project, he gave all his library to the village. Yeah, so it was really nice.
And what is another important thing about this project? This project started basically by one teacher from Varuhas school, Nara Barserian, I don't remember her surname. So, I mean, this is very important. Just one girl who thought that this is a problem and it has to be solved, and she started, and thanks to her, basically, a lot of people collected together, and so these problems are solved so far. Why I'm saying this? Because this is very important to understand that every big thing basically starts for just one person who's doing the first step, who's taking the first step.
The initiative,
initiative. So this is very important for our audience to know as well, that each of them really can solve like huge problems. I mean, these were not still were not huge problems.
Right.
Maybe a huge problem for that very village or that children, but not like a huge problem for all Armenians or Armenia. But for sure, we can come to solve much bigger problems on this platform with this approach of coming together and collaborating together. By the way, we can see that on the numbers as well. For example, this greenhouse for injured soldier, it was like around $6,000, and then Varuhas playground was around $16,000. Now, for example, the campaign of Artsakhi Munk techno school is on its way, and they have raised already $120,000. They're looking for $140,000, so that last mile will be closed, I believe, during this week. So I mean, the projects are becoming bigger and bigger, and this is very inspiring as well.
Let's talk about Munk specifically, because it has to do with tech, and it's a project that, from your platform, it's a project that I found very interesting. For those who don't know, Munk means us, we, right?
Yes.
In Artsakh dialect.
In Artsakhi dialect.
Artsakh dialect, yeah. Let's take Munk as an example and talk about that trust and safety process that you were talking about. When a project this big comes to you, what is the vetting like? How do you guys approach that, and what type of team do you have that works on that issue?
Actually, Munk is a very good example because I want to state something very important. Our vetting process is not there just to cut the projects.
Right.
Our vetting process is there to help projects become better. And
Develop
with
them.
the Munk, what happened is that they applied with a project that changed over time a lot. Even our team, we went to the village in Artsakh to see with our eyes what's happening there, because it was a big project and
Several
we didn't
times,
know.
by the way.
Yeah.
Can you say the name of the village?
At first, it should have been in the village Mushkapat, and then there was a problem with the place with the building. So what happened is the neighboring village, which name is Hagorti.
What region is it in?
It's in
Martuni
Martuni region. So the head of the village, he said, I don't need the building. So he gave up the building just for the children to have the techno school.
Now the mayor is working from home, and the whole building of Gyurapetaran, of municipality building, is transferred to children to build their techno school there.
And we hope one day we will see the mayor working from the co-working space in Munk Techno School. So what happened, the head of our advisory board is Armine Mkrtchyan for education, and he was involved very deeply with the project. So he looked at the project, he had several meetings with the project team, he gave a lot of advices, so the project changed and became much better. So,
by the way, a lot of people were involved in this process of, let's say, improving. I wanted to say idea, but not the idea.
Project.
The scheme. The project. So our chairman David Hagopian was very much involved in this process as well. By the way, a lot of specialists from the field, starting from Synergy people, Service Titan, Crisp guys, ACA people. By the way, AGBU with their Armenian Virtual College and ACA, Armenian Code Academy, they are helping Techno School with their curriculum, with their experts and the content that they have created for technological education, I mean, so basically we're coming to the point where we will have the top level education, technological education, in Varuhas, in this case, in Hagorti village. So this is very important because what we need basically in Artsakh at the moment is to keep people there, especially youngsters, and to give them opportunity to work for the global market. So for this, they have to have this internet, electricity, and knowledge of technological, basically, professions, and so to know how to deal with international market from Artsakhi villages. So this is what we have to solve at the moment.
The idea of working for the global market is really interesting to me because last year there was a conference organized by Crowdfunding Formula in Goris. I forget the name. You would know it.
Formula Goris.
Formula Goris, yes.
Yeah, and then after that we had Tech Week
Tech Week
Artsakh.
Right.
We organized it along with Gigi and Instigate,
Right.
and also around 40 companies joined us.
Yeah.
But you were speaking about Formula Goris.
Yes, Formula Goris. I spent some time in Goris last summer, and when speaking with people, one idea that I kept hearing is that during the conference, it was the first time that this idea of freelancing for companies abroad, it was the first time that this idea had been presented to them. And now they were all seeing this as an opportunity to go learn digital marketing or programming or graphic design or something so that they could provide their services to the outside world. If those opportunities weren't there in Goris, they now had the chance to, broaden their market and, search for opportunities from abroad while staying in Goris. And it was interesting to me that the idea had never been presented to the community there, and they just hadn't thought that was an option. So I think these projects like Munk are fantastic for bringing that idea to smaller communities in Armenia.
Yeah, let me tell you that these kind of projects partially are thanks to that kind of talks and events. And for example, the same Tech Week in Artsakh, there were 1,500 participants there.
Yeah.
500 from other regions and 1,000 from Artsakh, and
so important.
A lot of youngsters, a lot of tech-minded, but not still in the market people.
Right.
They made their final decisions to go into the tech, to stay in their villages, in their cities, and work for global market. Basically, there are like 3 steps of working for global market. The first is to be employed by some global company. It can be it will be basically Armenia-based global company. So they can be hired by these companies for remote work from Artsakh. The second step, they are starting freelancing basically, or creating the groups of outsourcing service providers, basically, outsourcing teams. And the third step, which is the most important one, and all of us are working to come to that very point, is to create own projects, products basically, and sell the products, not their workforce, let's say like this. So intellectual property.
Not provide their services to the outside world, but build their own product that they can sell to the global market.
Exactly. Yeah. That one will be the best opportunity to raise Artsakhi and all Armenian, basically Armenia's economics.
Yeah.
So we're working on that. Of course, it will take some time to bring people there to this mindset and to the level of having all the skills that are needed for creating the product and selling it throughout the world. So we're showing a lot of examples, of course, starting from Armenia-based companies or US-based companies created by Armenians, starting with Service Titan, PixArt, like TCF, CRISP, etc., etc. I don't want to name all of them because for sure I will forget a lot of companies, but there are really great examples. And what is great to mention here that all these companies, founders of these companies are really willing to come and share their knowledge and experience with region people with Artsakhi youngsters as well. So for example, last week I have posted a poll in Technotun Club channel, and I was asking for funds for education and for mentorship from tech people, and a lot of them committed to come to mentor these youngsters in Artsakh, to organize some workshops, some sessions for them. So meaning that these guys in Artsakh, these 15, 17 or 20 years old youngsters in Artsakh will get information from the very, very top of startup ecosystems, even from United States, from Silicon Valley, So
That's
this is incredible, opportunities that they will have.
Yeah. This is a little bit tangential to our main conversation, but it's really interesting and I want to dive a little bit deeper. So in Yerevan, over the last 18 months, the tech sector has seen large investments made, new startups are popping up, and there's a lot of exciting activity. But when I look at the history of it, it sort of started from this outsourcing model. and people developed their skills. There was a lot of professionals that developed their career, and then you got to the point where you could have these startups because there were the people capable of doing it. Do you think that some of this startup activity, from what you've seen, will it cause some of that older model of the outsourcing to move to the regions and to Artsakh, and then, in 10, 15 years, they'll start developing their startups?
Yes, you're totally right. Of course, we want to skip that
Well,
part.
that's a little hard, yeah.
But at least we will do everything to shorten that period.
Right.
From becoming a professional to coming to founder. So we want to shorten this path as short as possible. But let me tell you that right now there is already the first outsourcing team organized in this Hagorti village.
Amazing.
There are like 3 16, 17 years old girls and 2 guys with them. So this the team of 5 right now are taking orders, fulfilling some projects. For example, the website of their Ministry of Education is created by them already in Artsakh.
Yeah.
Besides, right now they're working on a project, e-commerce project from Russia.
Yeah.
They have a small foundation website from United States and several orders. Yesterday I met them in Stepanakert. We're trying always to keep in touch with them, to help them to grow as fast as possible. And I was really amazed that during these several months they have grown a lot. Right now they're working on 6 projects simultaneously. Wow. Of course, there are small projects, but we were thinking with them to go to some bigger projects, so to spend a little more time on the same project, to be able to dive deep in the project creation and then development process. So this process is supposed to be familiar to them. So later it will be easier for them to create their own product. You know what I'm saying? Huh? Like a bigger project for a longer period of time from the very beginning up to bringing this project to the market. So as soon as they will have this kind of orders, so they will understand the philosophy and the process of creating own project in depth. So this will help them to come to this startup point much faster.
That's incredible. Do you track the projects after they've met their collaboration goals on the platform and provide further assistance to them like you're doing in this example, or is that a one-off?
Actually, if we take the example which brought Gevorg regarding Hakopavank restoration, so the project ended, the collaboration ended with all these parties getting involved and starting collaboration. But it continued with the fundraising. So yes, so there is a big process going on. If we talk about another project, another collaboration which ended recently, it was from MEM, and they were looking for computers for their students. So they collected all the computers. They were looking for 10 computers. They collected all the computers, and now we're looking at what's happening, what their children are doing. One interesting story we have here is that one of the computers was donated by member who a few years ago got computer from someone.
Oh, that's
another
really
child, basically.
So now he's
very back,
now he's more developed, and he needed a better computer because he was doing some 3D modeling and so on. So he has decided that the other computer is going to be donated to someone.
That's a great story. I love that. Yeah.
But let me put another word in here about this tracking of projects. So besides the vetting process that Armine just described, where we're doing this due diligence process, evaluating process, we have the reporting process as well. So right after going live with their campaign, they're starting to provide at least 2 reports per month. One is financial report, where they show where from and how much money they have received and where did they spend this money. And the second report is progress report, where they basically show the progress of that very month. For example, they're showing the videos, the photos, some articles about them in media, for example. So based in this, you see every donor. Basically, these reports are public, and everyone from the community can track the process of financial and progress expenditures, let's say like this, and the progress can be tracked using these reports by anyone.
So on the page of the project, you can go and see those
Yes.
progress reports.
Yes, there are two main tabs. One is Story tab, where you see everything about the project, and the other is Updates tab. So in this Updates tab, you can see every update, including these obligatory reports, which they're posting once a month, these two reports. And they are basically obligated to report until the end of the fulfillment of the project.
Right.
Not only the fundraising or collaboration campaign, but also the fulfillment of the project itself.
Over what time period do you keep asking for those financial reports?
Depending on the project. There are some projects which the length of the project is 2 months, and they might be, for example, the Hakopavan case, the project will last around 3 years, for
Right.
example. So up
And
to
over
the
those
end
3
of
years,
the,
you'll have progress
yes,
reports.
yes, exactly, obligatory. So up to the end of the project itself.
For a platform like this to work, it seems like one of the biggest areas is maintaining trust with your community. How do you guys approach that problem? Because I feel like in the past, some initiatives similar to this that have started within the Armenian community have led to, at some point, for one reason or another, people losing faith in the organization or how they're managing all of this. Is the primary way that you maintain the trust with the community this vetting and constant reporting process?
The trust is the key in this collaboration process. I mean, this is the backbone, basically, of the process. I mean, as I said in the beginning, we understood that what we have to do first, we have to start collaborate together. But to collaborate, we have to trust each other. Otherwise, I'm not going to work with you. At least our collaboration won't be as effective as we want if there is no trust among us. So then we dive deep in this anatomy of trust, so to understand why people do not trust each other. And then we understood that the transparency is very important part of this. So as soon as I'm transparent for you, so you know everything about me, my intentions, my needs, my knowledge, what I have, what I need, what I can, what I can't, etc., etc. So as soon as I'm transparent for you, it's much more easier for you to trust.
Right.
As soon as we have this high level of transparency, we can trust each other, and based on this trust, we can start effective collaboration together. So we decided that this transparency is supposed to be one of the main, or let's say main value of our platform.
Right.
This one is the main reason why we don't have defense or military projects on the platform as well, because transparency there is not possible. So we are designing the whole platform based on this ideology that everything has to be transparent.
Right.
And as you see, during this vetting, we are collecting a lot of information about every project, and then this information is being posted on the platform for the whole basically community. We are collecting all these reports, as we just talked about, with these photos, videos, and everything is being posted again transparently for everyone as well. So this is creating that trust. So as soon as you're paying a penny or spending your hour on some project, and then you can easily track everything which is happening with this project, and you are sure that nothing is happening behind your back. We really believe that this level of transparency will bring to the level of trust we need to collaborate effectively together.
Yeah, and I would like to add something here. It's a very sensitive topic you raised, Nejde. And what we saw is that after the war, a lot of people lost their trust on big organizations. And what is happening now, we see that people say, okay, I have a relative in Armenia. It's better for me to send the money to them, and they will give to someone. And actually what's happening is that even in that case, there is no transparency, because what we saw during the war was that a lot of individuals, they were taking money from their relatives and showing the same receipt to everyone and saying that this is money I have spent, and the rest,
to their own relatives.
So what happened is that people lost trust in big organizations, and at the same time they stopped trusting their relatives and closed ones, because they have seen some things happening. And we came here with an idea that it's it's important to join our efforts. You
Yeah.
know, we can, all of us, we can send money to our relatives and think that they will find someone to help. And what we saw during the war as well was that there were some people who knew the places where to get, let's say, some things like blankets or something, and they knew how to gather them, and they were selling them on in a shop or somewhere in internet. I understand that there is no trust. I mean, the trust is a little bit low right now. But here we have to understand one very important thing. We created reArmenia with as Gevorg said, with the transparency in mind, and we want to restore this trust in projects, because again, we did synergy. If we do a little bit here, a little bit there, the result will be very small.
Yeah.
So we try to create this environment for trust, so people will be more willing to collaborate with others, and we will have bigger results.
I want to give another example of this. One of our donors, he said that reArmenia is a great salvation for him, because he said that he's owner of a big company, and he said that a lot of people are coming to him asking for money for this or that cause. And he said that on one hand, I don't have enough money to finance all of them. On the other hand, I don't have enough time to vet all these proposals, to understand, to organize this due diligence. And he said that reArmenia is a great solution for me. So I will send everyone who's coming to me to reArmenia. And if they're passing through that due diligence process, through that vetting process, so I will finance them. If not, I won't. And on the other hand, they will get opportunity to raise a lot more money from other donors as well, if they are on reArmenia.com, rather than they came only to me. Yeah. So this was another great thing. I believe that this case is a very good case for a lot of other donors and supporters out there.
Actually, we have seen a lot of projects which came to reArmenia. Right now, we have almost more than 200 projects already applied to reArmenia. And some of them, when they see that they have to go through this process, we're asking for some documents, they just disappear.
Yeah,
so
okay, that's good.
Filtering is happening naturally.
How many of those 200 projects have you accepted?
Actually, most of them are in the pipeline right now. Some of them are in trust and safety process, and others are in advisory board evaluation process. Some of them are preparing their campaigns. And right now we have around 15 projects that are preparing for campaign, and they will be live soon.
And around 20 projects we
are now live.
Are successfully fulfilled, funded or found their collaborators.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like 50-50, I guess. Around 10 projects we had as fundraisers, and around 10 projects who were looking for collaboration.
Yeah. The one thing I'll add on the trust part is, I sort of look at this as a user of reArmenia. I'm kind of like an investor. And in the sense that my expectation for success needs to somewhat be measured as well. If in over a 10-year time frame, the percentage-wise of successful projects is not 90-95%, but there's 10 munks, that's an incredible success overall. So I think we on the user sides also need to understand that. Something that came into play this month in Armenia is these regulations that are coming into play for equity crowdfunding.
Yes.
I know you were involved in that. First, let's say what equity crowdfunding is. So for those who've used something like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, people typically crowdfund some amount for a project, and maybe they'll get some reward for that, like early access to that product or that platform. For equity crowdfunding, a company comes in and they sell early stage equity for the amount that they raise. So if they need maybe, $100,000, they give up some percentage of their company to the group that raises it. So this is now being regulated in Armenia. What are those regulations that are coming in play, and what do you see for that in the near future?
Equity crowdfunding was, a lot of Armenians are doing this donations and support in different types, like in-kind donations or direct financial donations. But more and more people were thinking of providing not fish, but to teach how to fish.
Right.
And then they came to the idea that they want to invest rather than donate. And a lot of Armenians throughout these years were looking for opportunity of investments in Armenian companies, in Armenian startups. But the easiest way for this basically is equity crowdfunding platform, where a lot of people, like hundreds of people, can invest in the same entity with very small amounts, like $1,000, $5,000, or even less, maybe. But Armenian regulations were not good enough for this. For example, we have restrictions that through equity crowdfunding platform, maximum 50 people can invest in one entity, and each of those can invest up to 1 million drams, which is $2,000 basically.
No
more. Not more. I mean, if you want to invest more, you have to go into different legislation. You have to start venture fund, or for example, you have to start a joint stock company and issue stocks, have these stocks in the market, sell them. So these are huge problems for startups who are just starting their business, who have great ideas, but they do not know how to organize all these things. And the depository was working not very easy and fast back then, etc., etc. So eventually, for equity crowdfunding, these limitations were there, like 50 people per entity and $2,000 per person, meaning that not more than $100,000 you can raise through equity crowdfunding. But there are a lot of projects who really needs like 1 or 2 or more millions, and they really can digest these millions and grow faster. So initially, we were thinking of reArmenia as investment, donation, and collaboration platform. And we went to central bank with this. We said, we really need these regulations and these limits to be changed. And we started this process with them. So I have to say that central bank were very responsive and very fast in this case, because, I personally, I had another experience with central bank when I launched with my friends eDrum payment system back in 2004. So we spent around 7 years to come to the point where our central bank designed and finalized the regulation for e-money issuance. So we were very much afraid and saying, well, I mean, if this is the way we want to go through, I mean, but I have to say that during 1 year of different talks and a lot of stakeholders of the market were involved in this, and in central bank they have created a very professional team who were working on this. And so during 1 year they came up with new regulations, which is a great one, I have to say, a very liberal one, meaning that there are no limitations on amount invested by each person. There are no limitations on a number of investors in one equity. There are no limitations of where from these investors can be. I mean, any citizen of any country can invest through these platforms, thanks to this regulation, into Armenian startups or companies. And there is just one regulation about the total amount, which is around $4 or $5 million, I guess. I don't remember exactly the number at the moment.
For equity crowdfunding.
For equity crowdfunding, yes, for equity crowdfunding, which is a pretty good number, because if you're bigger than that, if you want to raise a bigger investment, so meaning that you are ready to have this, to be on stock market, etc., etc. So in short, this regulation really helps. Will help to develop equity crowdfunding sphere in Armenia. We basically decided with reArmenia.com to stay in collaboration platform mode and not go to investments, because, and the tool sets are very much different for donors and for investors. And the incentives of donors and investors are different. And the way of running business, if you're running investment business, equity crowdfunding, it's different. And if you're running like non-profit or helping foundations to raise donations, this is totally different. So we decided to have 2 different platforms. And then we decided to stay only with collaboration platform, but we said that any other entity or group who will decide to go into equity crowdfunding business, we will help them with everything we know. We have all our networks, knowledge, and experience, and everything. Besides, we said that we can provide our platform, the technological part, of our platform, as white label solution for these equity crowdfunding platforms. Of course, for that we need to do some developments, and for a specific amount of money we can do that, and then we can provide maintenance of the platform as usually white label solution providers do. So right after that, we had several teams who said that they are interested in starting crowdfunding, equity crowdfunding platform, and we are in negotiations with some of them, and some of the most active groups are already on the latest stage.
Yeah.
So at the moment, we're closing negotiations. Maybe in couple of weeks, we will be able to announce already the first partnership with a team who are going to receive this investment company license, who will start acting as operator of equity crowdfunding platform. And we as reArmenia most probably will provide the white label solution to them based on all the technology that we have developed. Based on this, we will develop the equity crowdfunding platform, and at this very point, we will have already for Armenians 2 different platforms. One for people who want to collaborate or donate to different causes, and the other for people who want to invest in Armenian businesses. So this is going to be a great ecosystem of bringing resources to Armenia and investing in development of Armenia, I believe.
In Armenian companies.
In Armenian companies and in Armenia overall, because these 2 platforms together will form this ecosystem of bringing resources.
It'll be a big tent.
To different
fields. The equity crowdfunding space is one I'm really interested in, and we'll see how it plays out in the coming year as these platforms launch. Okay, so let's finish with this question. In the 5 to 10 year time period, what are your hopes for reArmenia, and how do you see that playing a role in the greater development of the Armenian, both tech and startup, but also all these initiatives, that entire ecosystem? How do you see reArmenia's role in that?
Okay, I will start, and I'm sure that Gevorg could add a lot of things. So, but basically what we see is that whenever you feel that you have a problem and you don't know how to solve it, you will go to reArmenia and find people who will help you. Whenever you will have a birthday and you will decide that you don't want gifts and you want to collect some gifts for others, you will go to reArmenia and say, guys, I have my birthday and I want to give you something. So whenever you feel like you want to help and you want to do something for your country, your people, you will go to reArmenia and find projects that are closer to your heart, and you will participate in solving a lot of problems. So in short, it's going to be the place where people will meet to solve their problems, and everyone, whenever they have any problem, they will remember about reArmenia as a place where they can go.
There are 3 different stages of development, basically, of reArmenia. The first stage is the platform, where all the Armenians are coming together, solving the problems. The second stage is ecosystem, where reArmenia ecosystem, where there is a platform, but also a lot of different entities, foundations, individuals, experts who are collaborating together again for solving Armenians or Armenia's problems. And the third stage is the community, which is developing around this ecosystem, basically. And this community, as Armine said, these are people who are willing to help, to donate, to collaborate. This giving community, basically. This is what we understand that we have to build as soon as possible. But I want to add one thing more, that reArmenia is, again, this is the platform, this is the tool. To understand, we are not foundation, for example, which is raising money and distributing this money. We are just providing the platform to all the other foundations, entities, individuals to come together to solve their problems using reArmenia as the tool. A lot of different foundations are putting their projects on reArmenia platform, using the platform as a tool. In 5 or 10 years, as you said, we see reArmenia becoming the tool as a platform for all Armenians. We see the ecosystem developed, including all the needed entities for coming together and solving the problems. And we see the big giving community of Armenians. We were thinking of around 30 to 40,000 people involved in this community, which will be the critical mass, I believe, after which very organically this giving and collaborating values and ideas will be spread throughout Armenians. And then eventually we believe that this effective collaboration ways will be spreading around the world already, because a lot of other nations and countries really need these models of effective collaboration, which we are developing at the moment for our nation.
Okay, Gevorg and Armine, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank
We
you
hope in the
very
future
much.
you'll come
Thank
back
you.
and give us your updates. Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
sure. Thanks.